Super Mario Galaxy is narratively the best 3D Mario title. Through its sense of wonder, ambiance, and adventure, it manages to deliver an experience unlike any other in the franchise. An experience so heartwarming that even though this game is not a story-heavy title in the traditional sense, as you actually run through the game, you can feel the story unfolding and being told. As you jump through the various galaxies, the narrative isn't exactly laid out in an episodic manner in the same way that it was in Mario Sunshine, but the visuals, the wonder, the sense of space exploration, the ambiance, and the atmosphere of every new galaxy you come across does an excellent job making you feel like you are genuinely exploring the uncharted cosmos of outer space. I'm not going to pretend this is the type of game that could live up to the space exploration AAA titles, not in the sense of the actual adventure anyway. But given we're playing a 3D Mario title where Mario is searching for Bowser's reactor in the center of the universe, I think they gave us much more than we needed. And Mario Galaxy is a better game for it as a result. When you remove the gameplay and the level design, I'd say there are three primary aspects worth discussing in Super Mario Galaxy. The first one is the actual story itself, the narrative that's laid out to you as you go through the game. The second one is the cosmic adventure. You can call it whatever you like. Ambiance, vibes, wonder, atmosphere. It's whatever that feeling was that wowed you the first time you played the game. And finally, it's the world building and narrative designed around the COMET Observatory. My intention during this segment is to give a fairly deep dive on all three of these aspects. And I think a good place to start is the actual story itself. Some of this will have been mentioned in previous segments, but I figured it's worth running through quickly again. The adventure starts off on the night of the Star Festival, a special event held once every 100 years when a comet passes over the Mushroom Kingdom. Princess Peach invites Mario to her castle to watch the festivities together. As Mario makes his way to the castle, the celebration is interrupted by Bowser, who arrives in a massive fleet of airships. Using powerful technology, Bowser lifts Peach's castle into outer space, kidnapping her and leaving Mario stranded on a small planetoid. Mario is rescued by a mysterious, ethereal being named Rosalina. She explains that Bowser has stolen the observatory's power stars to fuel his new empire at the center of the universe. Without the power stars, the observatory is powerless and cannot travel. Rosalina enlists Mario's help to recover the power stars, restore the observatory's energy, and rescue Princess Peach. Mario embarks on a journey through various galaxies, each filled with diverse and imaginative environments such as lush planets, fiery volcanoes, icy worlds, and mysterious voids. Each galaxy contains several missions, often culminating in a battle against one of Bowser's minions or other formidable foes. Mario collects power stars by completing these missions, which gradually restore power to the COMET Observatory and unlocks new areas of space to explore. Throughout his quest, Mario encounters Lumas, star-like creatures who serve as companions to Rosalina. Lumas possess unique abilities, such as transforming into celestial bodies or launching Mario to distant worlds. As Mario collects more power stars, Rosalina reveals her backstory through a series of storybook chapters. She was once an ordinary girl who cared for a lost Luma and embarked on a journey through the stars to help it find its mother. Over time, Rosalina became the protector of the cosmos, building the COMET Observatory and adopting countless Lumas as her family. Her tale adds a layer of emotional depth to the adventure, highlighting themes of compassion, loss, and the passage of time. Eventually, Mario gathers enough power stars to reach the center of the universe, where Bowser has constructed a massive fortress. In a climactic showdown, which I will be covering in the next segment, Mario confronts Bowser, who harnesses the power of the Grand Stars to increase his strength. Despite Bowser's immense power, Mario defeats him and rescues Princess Peach. Bowser's defeat triggers a catastrophic collapse of the fortress, creating a black hole that threatens to consume the entire galaxy. In a final moment of sacrifice, the Lumas hurl themselves into the black hole to neutralize its destructive force. This act of bravery causes the black hole to implode, leading to a cosmic rebirth. Mario, Peach, and Bowser are safely returned to the Mushroom Kingdom, and the universe is restored to its natural order. In the grand scheme of things, this story isn't really that deep, but in the context of a Mario title, I think it does a very good job. I was in high school the first time I played this game, and I remember thinking the story was pretty epic. Specifically for a children's title, I can only imagine the impact the story had on kids that were a decade or so younger than me. It also does just enough. When you consider this game came out roughly around the time Sonic 06 was released, and obviously Sonic 06 had an ocean of other issues that were not even related to the stories, but you can still learn from the reaction of having too serious of a story in a 3D platformer, primarily one intended for children. I think Super Mario Galaxy's story does just enough where it still appeals to the people that don't want any story in Mario, while also dangling a little bit of hanging fruit for the folks that are looking for some deeper meaning in these games. But again, the actual story of Super Mario Galaxy is only part of the equation. The vibes also tell their own story. At the heart of Super Mario Galaxy's atmosphere lies its sweeping orchestral soundtrack. The music elevates the game's sense of wonder and adventure to celestial heights. Unlike the jaunty and upbeat tunes of previous Mario titles, Galaxy's soundtrack pulls inspiration from classical compositions and cinematic scores. The famous track in Gusty Garden Galaxy bursts with energy. While Space Junk Galaxy captures an almost haunting sense of loneliness and the quiet beauty of drifting through the cosmic debris. The music is not merely background noise. It's a character in and of itself, guides players' emotions as they traverse planets large and small. Honestly, in many ways, it reminds me of the Donkey Kong Country series. It has a presence in the game that's felt more than in most titles. In addition to that, the game masterfully uses gravity as both a mechanic and a mood setter. Walking upside down on a tiny planetoid feels both disorienting and exhilarating, emphasizing the game's playful defiance of real-world physics. The dynamic shifts in gravity add an otherworldly sense of unpredictability. With every launch star that hurls Mario across the galaxy, players experience a rush of excitement. And of course, at the emotional core of Super Mario Galaxy lies Rosalina, a mysterious and maternal figure who watches over the cosmos from the COMET Observatory. Her presence lends a quiet melancholy to the game, a tone rarely explored in the Mario series. Through her storybook, players uncover a poignant tale of loss, longing, and searching for belonging. The story of Rosalina and the Lumas add layers of emotional depth to the game's cosmic journey. It transforms a player's odyssey from a mere rescue mission to a more profound meditation on love and loss across the stars. This narrative element enriches the ambiance, giving weight to the vastness of space and the small, precious bonds that connect us. And where do I even begin with the art direction? It strikes a delicate balance between fantastical whimsy and the majesty of space. Planets gleaming with vibrant colors, galaxies shimmer with cosmic dust. The fact that the developers used the Wii's limited hardware to its fullest potential, crafting a universe that feels as vast and mysterious as it is playful and inviting. Lighting and shadow plays a crucial role in the game's ambiance. Stars twinkle in the distance, casting a gentle glow over the celestial landscape. The soft radiance of the COMET Observatory stands in serene contrast to the dark void beyond. This interplay of light and darkness mirrors the game's thematic contrasts of joy and sorrow, wonder and mystery. And the game even leverages the Wii Remote's motion controls to create an immersive sense of flight and freedom. This use of motion enhances the game's emotional texture. Soaring between planetoids feels liberating, as if Mario is dancing across the heavens. There is an infectious optimism in every launch, a reminder of the human desire to reach beyond the known and touch the stars. Moreover, the game's clever use of gravity allows players to break free from the conventional platforming rules. Walking on the underside of a planet or leaping across orbiting spheres evokes a childlike sense of wonder, as if anything is possible within this cosmic playground. And perhaps the most iconic playground in all of Super Mario Galaxy is the COMET Observatory. It is one of the most iconic and mechanically memorable hub worlds in video gaming history. It's a celestial sanctuary, and it serves as a player's primary point of navigation, connecting to the various galaxies Mario must explore. Beyond its aesthetic, beauty, and narrative importance, the COMET Observatory distinguishes itself through its mechanical innovation, fostering player engagement, progression, and a sense of wonder. It's introduced as a refuge led by Rosalina, which frames the hub into more than just a navigation tool. It becomes a living, breathing entity within the game's lore. Each section of the observatory unlocks as a player collect power stars, reflecting Mario's progress while offering deeper insights into Rosalina's backstory through the library. This layered storytelling deepens the emotional investment and creates a symbiotic relationship between narrative progression and mechanical engagement. Every new power star collected reactivates the dormant sections of the ship, such as the terrace, fountain, kitchen, bedroom, engine room, and finally the garden. The segmented progression encourages exploration while maintaining a structured sense of achievement. This is not new. The act of unlocking new areas mirrors the traditional platforming mechanics, but adds a sense of restoration. Players feel like they are helping Rosalina rebuild her home, enhancing the emotional stakes. This evolving environment keeps the hub dynamic and rewarding, preventing the staleness that often accompanies static hub worlds in other platformers. The reason I'm stressing this so much is because while mechanically in the past I've said that I prefer Peach's Castle, and quite frankly I still do just because of all the nostalgia I have behind it, narratively speaking, I'd say the Comet Observatory does a much better job. And mind you, I think Peach's Castle does an excellent job narratively, so the fact that I'm saying the Comet Observatory does a better job with the narrative is as big a praise as I can sing. I would say Delfino Plaza is the most enjoyable hub world in the first 3 Mario titles when it comes to searching and collecting stars and blue coins. In many ways it feels more like a stage rather than a hub world, and it might actually be the best stage in that entire game. The Comet Observatory does the best job telling a narrative, and it even does a very simple job at directing players where to go. Almost too simple for my liking, but that's besides the point. Peach's Castle I feel like is the best of both of these. It offers incentive to search and explore more than the Comet Observatory, but not quite as much as Delfino Plaza. And it also tells a narrative as you run through Peach's Castle searching for all the secrets to get towards saving Peach. In my opinion, much better than what was done in Delfino Plaza, but not quite as good as the Comet Observatory. I think all 3 of these are good hub worlds. I think they all have their strengths and their weaknesses. And I gotta imagine the favorite people have is gonna be the one they spent the most time in as a child. Or at least that's the case for me. That being said, the Comet Observatory is not only narratively rich, it's also mechanically dynamic. And it's actually more dynamic than Delfino Plaza, in the case that, for the most part, you don't really have to beat any single star in order to get to Bowser. Whereas obviously in Mario Sunshine you had to beat episode 7 of every stage, and in order to get to episode 7 you had to finish episode 6, and then 5 before that, and so on. Galaxy falls much more along the lines of Mario 64. In Mario 64 you just had to get 70 stars to get to Bowser. Over here it's 60. And outside of the early game, there's virtually no limitations of to which stage and which order you can choose. Obviously, Mario 64 takes this a step further because you can complete certain stars without actually selecting their objective. That's a little bit more difficult here. But the progression through the game, selecting the stages you'd like to choose as you unlock more and more areas of the hub world, give the player the agency that makes these dynamic games so enjoyable. If you can't accomplish a star for whatever reason, you can skip it, or you can just not do it altogether if you're not going for full completion. In many ways, the Comet Observatory is as successful as a hub world can get. It has the ideal skeleton that you would want in any hub world. It gives you the narrative, the sense of wonder, the direction, and it does a great job not only guiding you, but ensuring that you don't get lost. When you unlock Luigi, he'll have a space in the hub world waiting for you. When you encounter Captain Toad, you'll find him waiting for you. When Peach sends you a letter with a 5-1-up, there'll be a jingle played so you know that it's available. As you unlock new domes, beams of light will transport you to where you want to go. The first one is simple, it just gets you up to the fountain. That entrance into the fountain is teaching you the mechanic of how these beams of light will work later. As a matter of fact, the only time I felt there was a nuisance here is when I wanted to view the map, since I always had to walk back to where Rosalina was in order to view it. But at that point, it feels more like a nitpick than anything else. I may have personal preferences elsewhere. I may even have liked this thing more if there was a little bit more searching involved in finding the Hungry Lumas, or even the remaining of the small galaxies. But I can't deny how good of a job the Comet Observatory does in guiding the player, and how majestic it feels to advance through the game. And I especially can't deny its legacy. A legacy that I may have shrugged off during my Mario 64 videos. I've since changed my mind a bit about the Comet Observatory. The game needs it. It's not better without it. Nor is it even the same without it. But part of that is due to the type of game that Mario Galaxy is. Mario Galaxy is an experience. And I say that for better or for worse. It may not be the most appealing 3D Mario title if you're looking for a pure platformer. In many ways, it's lacked that difficulty and that charm that I found in the challenge of Mario 64 and Sunshine. And from what I understand, Mario Galaxy 2 makes up for it, but I haven't played that game in a very long time. And yes, I will be covering Mario Galaxy 2. Probably pretty soon. But the fact of the matter is, when you're viewing Mario Sunshine as an experience, you're viewing it for the ambiance, the music, the atmosphere, and all of those senses of wonder and excitement as you pass into a new area. Since those are the strong points of Mario Galaxy, in my opinion, then in that case, the Comet Observatory brings it all together. I don't normally play video games for the story, for the vibes either, which is why it's been a little bit harder for me to go through this retrospective without frequently thinking about the difficulty, or lack thereof. But I made this pretty clear from before, and I made this pretty clear especially through my Sonic series. If a game has spirit, I will always enjoy it. Mario Sunshine might be more fun for me to play through, but Mario Galaxy is a better game, and that's just something I can't deny. But that's something we'll discuss further in the conclusion. But before we get to the conclusion, in the next segment, we'll be covering the face-offs with Bowser and Bowser Jr.,